you so that you can accomplish all of your insurance goals. The headquarters right here in College Station on Highway 6. Call 888-44-ROLLO or go to rolloinsurance.com. And now we begin the Go Hour with the man who just goes, Gadget goes, Olin Buchanan. Did you understand that reference?
Gadget goes?
Yeah. There was a show when I was a kid called Inspector Gadget.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's
Never
right.
saw it.
Oh, you're kind of
I once made what I thought was a pretty good column making fun of Charlie Strong for calling A&M a gadget program.
Right.
And listed like some of the gadgets that he said Texas doesn't use gadgets, so some of the great gadgets in history and what they can't use. So I remember the flushing toilet was one of the top gadgets in history. I think, well, they can't use it. You think their program stinks now?
Can't put it in the toilet. Hey,
so there's a game?
You were there when the phone was invented.
That's right.
Hey, how good of a neighbor was George Washington?
George Washington?
Just kidding. I'm just playing along with Dalton's jokes.
What was?
Hey, let's talk a little bit about. You talked about Charlie Strong there. Leon O'Neal yesterday. I don't know. I think he was on some show on XM. I love Leon, but basically saying that Texas eventually, if they ever get the right coach, will be able to win. But until then, they're not going to be able to win. And that was a shot at Sark and a shot at the University of Texas coming into the SEC. I love that.
I have no real issue with it, especially when you're saying things that are true. The same thing going on at A&M.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's so important to find the right coach. I don't know if Sarkisian's the right coach. I don't even know, and you're going to have to follow me on this, I don't even know if Mack Brown was the right coach at Texas. Are you the right coach when you win 2 conference championships in 16 years at Texas? Now, if you did that at Kansas, they'd build monuments,
for you. Right. Are you the right coach? I think winning a national championship, yes, you are the right coach.
So Larry Coker was the right coach at Miami?
Maybe for that year, for that moment.
Well, but you look at tenure.
I still think Mack is a legendary Hall of Fame coach, yes.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, were you the right coach if you win 2 conference championships in 16 years at Texas?
Is there someone who would have won more is basically the retort to that. And potentially, but I think Mack was the right coach. He did benefit a lot, obviously, from that Vince year. There's no doubt about that.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, that big part of coaching is recruiting.
Right.
And so we say, well, yeah, he had Vince Young. Well, yeah, because he recruited him.
Right.
So I don't have an issue with that. I mean, that's part of it. I'm just saying they won, I think it was 16 years. I might be off.
Right.
But they won 2 conference championships.
Not good enough.
When your rival, Bob Stoops, just owns you, and more often than not, you put in more talent than they did on the field.
I still think because
they were good.
Of the national championship, and they were an elite team without winning the conference championship, there's no doubt. Because to me, like RC was the right coach for this era. Could there have been somebody better? Potentially, sure, but RC was the right coach.
He won about 4 or 5 conference championships.
Yes, but his bowl games were not fantastic.
That's true. I don't want to make excuses for him. I will say they got some of the most disadvantaged matchups. I remember one year they got Notre Dame when Notre Dame had lost early when a lot of their players were hurt. By the end of the year, they were the best team in the country. Things like that. They got Florida State having to start a freshman quarterback. They had some bad breaks.
Getting a question on the text line, I'll just bring it up during the show. Why is news playing on my stream? I don't know if there's a thing going on with the stream back at the mothership, but just want to make sure that we are on the right page when it comes to that. I don't know if others are having issues with it, so just bringing it out there. But I think that's an interesting question because when you look at Mack's tenure, it should have been so much more the way we look at him. So I understand what you're saying there. But I do think 10-win seasons, a national championship, he was the right coach for them at that time, especially thinking about the fake history that Texas sometimes thinks about national champ. How long was it between national championships, and what have they done since 2005? They had 1 year, maybe 2 years that have been nice.
Since 2009, because they played for the national championship in 2009, and then they fell apart in 10. And I think they've won 9 games and 10 games. 1 year of 9 games under Mack, I think, and then the 10 games when they were back. But it's just Look, I like Mac. I know him personally from covering him. You know, we're not buddies or anything like that, even though he did have us all over at his house one time for steaks.
How was that?
That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
He had Ruth Chris cater it. That was pretty awesome. His house was much nicer than mine. And I think he's a genuinely nice person, obviously a very good football coach, obviously a great Hall of Famer. My question just goes back. If you were the coach at Alabama for 16 years and won two conference championships and Auburn pretty much owned you, would you be the right coach?
Not at Alabama. But again, I don't have an inflated
view.
But
Texas kind of thinks of themselves as...
They think of themselves that way. I don't. Through my lifetime, and yes, they've won more national championships than Texas A&M. I get it. And in my lifetime, they have that one. But I don't have this inflated view of Texas to where I think winning a national championship for them in 30 years is about on par of where they should be. And I'm expecting our run to happen during this Jimbo era.
I would be confident about that. Could happen this year.
It could. And he's got to win some SEC championships. He's got to do some things as well. But the trajectory with him is on the high. And I think when they hired Mac, they needed Mac at that time too.
Well, they didn't intend to hire him. I think
he was like their third choice, right?
I think he was their second guy. Okay. I think Gary, was it Barnett, who was at Northwestern?
Yep.
And he kind of talked himself out of the job by demanding so much and being so arrogant. And Mac came in and it's like, they liked him. Said, well, this is the guy. And there's no question it was a good hire. That's not that's not what I brought up. That's not the debate that I was posing. Right. It was just, is that the right guy if you only went two? But yeah, he was very good for them. He turned them around. They had a lot of 10-win seasons. They're a long way away from that now.
They're a long way away from that. And I still think Sark was maybe their third or fourth choice. Maybe I don't know where he was.
Well, there's no doubt Urban Meyer was their target. So then they had to
pivot.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll get into the topic of the show here. And it's honestly I was just thinking of something non-sporty today to throw out as our show topic, and it became sporty/non-sporty. Who is your favorite college football movie character? Now, you were thinking to yourself, there aren't that many college football movies that I know about, but I started going through some just to kind of jog people's memories. And I know there's some easy ones out there, but We Are Marshall, Rudy, The Express, Waterboy, Grader, which I've never seen, couldn't be worse, Safety, Little Giants, The Program, which I loved. I absolutely loved The Program. Johnny Be Good, Anthony Michael Hall. I loved it back in the day, though.
Horrible movie.
Oh, I loved it. Necessary Roughness.
Pretty bad movie.
Yeah. Was it Texas State?
Texas State.
Yeah. Before there was a Texas State. My All-American, never saw it.
Good. It's a good movie.
Everybody's All-American.
Maybe that's the one I saw.
A Game of Honor.
Didn't see
Game
it.
Stands Tall.
Didn't see it.
2 for the Money.
Didn't see it.
That's with Pacino and Matthew McConaughey.
I can already tell you I don't like it. I don't like Pacino in any kind of movie involving sports.
I didn't mind him in, what was that movie? Any Given Friday or Any Given Sunday?
Nah,
yeah.
I thought he's not believable as a football coach.
Didn't he wear a suit like he was like old school? Oh, goodness. Forrest Gump, which I didn't think of as a college football movie.
But he was an All-American.
This is right. And Paterno, which is unfortunately a terrible story, but we have that one as well. So there's a couple of the movies I threw out there. If you want to throw in Friday Night Lights, we'd love to hear from you on the A&B text line, 979-693-1150, or the BCSI hotline at that same number. Yes, Obi. I thought you were going to say something.
Well, I wasn't, but could I don't know who the character would you include any of the festive dancers in Texas A&M from the best little whorehouse in Texas?
We could do that.
They were quite festive.
It's a Festivus miracle. Let's go around the room and say hello to everybody. We go to Dalton there in the fishbowl. Good morning to you, Dalton.
Good morning. I'll go with Newt Rockne All-American as my favorite college football movie because that had Ronald Reagan, the actor.
That's right. Ronald Reagan.
As the Gipper.
The Gipper. That's right. What did you guys do last night? Because I see that Richard, your roomie, was up till 3:30 in the morning. Were you helping him watch the Dodgers last night?
You think I watch baseball
ever?
No,
I don't.
Let alone at 3 in the morning. No.
Look at the room. You've got some new people in the room.
Full room. We're learning. We're figuring things out. So yeah, we're gonna get to it today.
All right. Thank you, Dalton. Appreciate the 4 seconds analysis. We move now to the News and Social Center. Tomas Romo. I don't know why I love to say your name with an accent. Tomas, you were working on a podcast that you're going to be unveiling here soon enough on TexAgs.
Yes, David, good morning. And we're going to see what's going to happen with that. But we got some news, of course, Haynes King being named the starting quarterback. We heard that yesterday. We got some new news, especially this morning. A&M and Fanatics team up for a 10-year partnership. Texas A&M University and Fanatics, a leading licensed sports merchandiser today, announced an exclusive 10-year partnership that will significantly elevate the selection and assortment of licensed Aggie products.
Very nice. Love the business for Texas A&M. What else we got?
Football places 9 on 2021 preseason all SEC teams. Texas A&M football placed a program best 9 student athletes on the coaches all Southeastern Conference football team announced by the league office.
Excellent, Tomas. Thank you very much. You got any more? You got any text messages you want to get into?
I got one more for you. Putnam City Athletics inducts Danielle Gant into the Hall of Fame. Former Texas A&M women's basketball standout Danielle Gant is set to be inducted into the Putnam City Athletics Hall of Fame on Friday. Gant sits 5th all-time on the Aggie scoring list and 3rd in rebounds and steals.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you very much there, Tomas. All right, man. So I guess the rest of the hour, we've got Stephen McGee coming up. Excited to chat with him, especially with the news of Haynes King. You had a night to sleep on it. Before we hit the break, just some thoughts on now that quarterback is set. We know his skill set, and we've seen what he's done at the high school level. But how's that going to translate for A&M this year?
Well, we're going to have to find out. I don't know if it was you who said it or someone else, Billy or somebody said, hey, everything is there to make you feel like this guy's could be special. He's gifted. He's incredibly fast. He has a good arm, maybe not a great arm, but it's more than adequate. He's smart. He has the acumen that comes from being a coach's son, all those things, growing up in football, all those things. He's not afraid of anything. Players like him. Everybody follow everything. He still has to prove on 3rd and 8 that he can make the big completion. Not saying he can't, but you wait until the big lights are on. Well, he's already been huge in a state championship game in a huge environment. It was at the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Saw those things, and there's so much pressure on that, and he handled that then. But obviously it's an enormous step in competition. If the game's on the line against Alabama, is he going to be able to make a play? We feel good about everything that he's bringing in. There's just, you have to wait for that, and we won't ever know. But until he actually starts playing, but everything about the kid seems to indicate that, he's not going to just be a good quarterback, that he could someday be really special.
Do you remember the way they spoke about Johnny during his time? Was he considered one of the fastest on the roster? Because there was a question on the boards, is Haynes faster than Johnny? I assume he is. I don't know what the numbers were. I don't remember them. But I remember people talking about how elusive Johnny was. But were they talking about his speed as well?
Well, I think Johnny was fast. I would be skeptical to think he's Haynes King's fast if Haynes actually runs a 4.45. Straight line speed, probably Haynes. What Johnny had was that, as we know, you just said elusive, that ability to be running at whatever his full speed was and cut and change direction at full and never lose that speed. I don't know exactly how fast Johnny was, but rarely did I see him get caught from behind. Maybe somebody at LSU did. Usually it was somebody who had an angle would get him.
Right.
Haynes may be the guy that if you have an angle, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and also Johnny teaming up with Swope and obviously Mike Evans, that partnership that they developed in those moments where Johnny needed to throw the ball and he was a gambler. That's the stuff we're going to find out about Haynes. Johnny would gamble, and more often than not, it would work out. And a lot of times it would work out because of how great his complementary pieces were. And I don't mean that in a demeaning way. I'm just saying, like, when he threw it up, Mike was going to come down with it, or Swope was going to run through the middle and come up with a big first down. All right, we'll continue with that dialogue here in a moment. Also want to give you a programming update along with Stephen McGee. We've got Greg Bailey, ABC 13, a good Aggie, coming on the show. Put that on the message boards. Aaron Torres, Fox Sports Radio, or he's got his new podcast going out. We'll talk with Aaron, Emily Karen of Sportico, and we're going to give you a fan show preview. People are asking, is Nuño going to get rid of the fan show? No, we've been planning it for months. We've been in the lab, coming up with some of the new things we're going to try out this year, and we're going to have Roy May and Matt Browning in studio at 10:35 to preview what it's going to feel like starting next week. But right now, I want to talk about our sponsor and our good buddy Chance McClain, Heritage Films, yourheritagefilm.com. And I love my dad. My dad had yesterday was driving his golf cart. He plays golf. He's 91 years old, plays golf a couple times a week, and he had a little accident, like hit something, fell out of the golf cart. He got hurt, and it just he's fine. He's good. He's home. He'll probably play golf by Friday, by tomorrow. But that being said, it just always, anytime I get a call, Dad got hurt, there's a moment of pause, and I just want to reflect and think about all the great things he's done for me, my family, and I want my kids to remember all his stories, fleeing Cuba in 1960 and getting away from a communist government, and his education not really meaning anything here in the States and having to start all over and become an engineer and dominating in that world for such a long time, and all the memories and all the things that he's done for our family. I want that captured on film, and Chance McClain is the one who's going to do it for us. He's going to interview my pops in October, and he's going to make an A&E Netflix style of documentary, because that's what he does. He takes about 2 months to get the process done, interviews, gets pictures, videos, you name it, puts it all together, and now you're watching a Netflix special. He can do that for you as well. You don't want to miss your opportunity. Check out yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
Find out first, get scores, updates, and more. Follow the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM on Twitter. Zone 1150.
Does the insulated glass in your windows refuse to come clean no matter how hard you work? If so, the glass unit has probably lost its seal. You might notice moisture between the panes, a hazy look, shadows, or even the growth of some white mold. If so, it's time to call your friends at Intercon. Not only are these conditions unattractive, but you no longer have an insulated barrier in your windows. There are a number of options available to you to remedy lost seals. Most options allow you to retain your existing window frame and just replace the bad glass with a new sealed unit. Clear insulated glass offers an insulating pocket, but no protection against solar heat gain. Low E insulated glass adds a coating between the sheets of glass. The coating blocks about 80% of the solar heat gain, as well as the damaging UV rays of the sun. Another option is to trade out the entire window frame with a premium vinyl window. Since Intercon does both glass and windows, we can offer you a full complement of options. Call Intercon to get a free quote from a locally owned and managed business.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help you keep your home energy efficient year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
The association, because they support so many different things and they are involved, as a student, you feel like you have somebody in your corner.
We know that Alfredo's family has never seen him march live at Kyle Field. With the help of the Association of Former Students, we're going to end that today. Alfredo's family is here with us.
To the Association of Former Students, I don't know how much I can thank you enough for giving me hope that for anything that goes wrong, something good is going to happen out of it. Whatever they do for the school, it's always going to come out with a smile on someone else's face.
To learn more about the association's impact or to make a gift, visit tx.ag/giving.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our sponsors for backing the Aggies all season long. First Financial Bank, Bryan College Station Toyota, Rudy's Barbecue, Schulte Roofing, The Sleep Station, and Pioneer Steel. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
You can listen to Aggie football, basketball, and baseball on your Amazon Dot or Echo. Step 1, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Step 2, anytime you want to hear fighting Texas Aggie football, Texas A&M women's basketball, or Aggie baseball, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. It's that simple to listen to your favorite A&M teams that play on the Zone with your Amazon Dot or Echo. Make sure to say one time, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then say, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So we did ask, we're going to get into 21 and 21 here in a second, but we did ask, what's your favorite college football movie character out there? And we can evolve the conversation into favorite college football movie. And this being a Texas A&M show, we should have mentioned Junction Boys, and I'm glad that, David here in the BCS is the one who reminded me. But Junction Boys, obviously, one of those movies as well that we can get into. So we'll get into that as well. But right now, it is now time for 21 and 21. We're up to number 2, presented by Factory Builder Stores, celebrating over 30 years as the largest contract distributor in Texas. Factory Builder Stores can service builders and general public with locations throughout Texas, including right here in College Station on Old Welborn Road and on Rock Prairie, just on the west side of the railroad tracks. Go see Jason and John. They're going to take very good care of you for all of your appliance needs. All right, so OB, there can only be 2 guys left, and we know who the 2 top players are, so not a lot of suspense here, but we're going with number 2, DeMarvin Leal in our 21 and 21, a guy that has played the end, a guy who in the NFL could play multiple positions.
Yeah, DeMarvin Leal, you could have done a coin flip. If you've been keeping up, you'll know who tomorrow is, but he's the Big 8. He can do anything you want him to do on the defensive line. If you put him inside, he becomes that little bit undersized, if you can be undersized at 290, but ridiculously quick defensive tackle that guards won't be able to handle. You can put him on the end, and he's, dominant. He's just that kind of guy that is a rare talent, a rare combination of size and speed. He doesn't look at first glance to be that enormous guy because he's a muscular, almost streamlined, but somehow 290 pounds. There's a lot of power in that guy and a lot of quickness. And I think it's the quickness that he has that's an even better that even better serves him. I can remember a game against the game against North Carolina. He just fires off coming from the right side of the offense. And they're trying to pull a guard to block him on like a draw. And he's so athletic, he dips underneath the block. So here's this guy pulling around, is going to try to pick him off. He ducks under the guy and hits the running back in the backfield for about a 3-yard loss. You can count on your hand, on one hand, how many guys in the world can do that? I mean, he's that kind of speed and athleticism, but then you see the power. Go back to the Tennessee game, and he fights through a double team to sack the quarterback and cause a fumble. It's as spectacular a play as you'll ever see. So he has power, he has speed, he's so agile and athletic, and at that position, his gifts are just so rare at that position. He's going to be a first-round pick. The only question will be how high.
Yeah, everything, when I'm doing research for this, every mock draft or any NFL analysis has him as a probable top 10 pick as of today. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. I absolutely could see it.
Oh, yeah. Again, to me, the most bizarre thing is why the SEC media and apparently coaches, even though because he wasn't first team on the coaches' preseason team. Right? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Of course, I don't hold that against the coaches because we all know coaches don't vote on it. They always get their PR guy, their SID, or their football ops guy. But there's a lot of people obviously aren't paying attention. He had 2.5 sacks last year as defensive end. That's not going to raise your eyebrows. But he had 8 quarterback hurries, and we've talked about this before. One of those was on KJ Costello against Mississippi State, and because he had to throw it under duress, he underthrew it, and Miles Jones got an interception in the end zone. That's what it's. You don't always look at the sack. You look at what he calls. Sometimes it's an interception. Sometimes it's just a bad play. And he has a tendency. He has that knack to be in the right place at the right time. Witness the interception against Alabama.
Yep.
The fumble recovery against Florida when Buddy Johnson stripped the guy and it led to the game-winning field goal.
Place.
So there's DeMarvin Leal is just such a special player, and I think he's been great. And he's so physical. There's a Vanderbilt tried to run a bubble screen, and the guy, by the time the guy catches the ball, he turns, and DeMarvin's so fast, he's already out there and just levels the guy. It was a spectacular play. You could make a 10-minute highlight reel of DeMarvin Leal.
One last thing I'll bring up about him, what he does for everybody else, what he does for Michael Clemens, what he does for the rest of the defense beyond the secondary. Obviously, his push up front forces quarterbacks into bad throws. But when he's getting the attention of the double teams and the triple teams, what does that do for PV? What does that do for Michael Clemens? It opens them all up.
Oh, yeah. They're all, they get one-on-one matchups. And what else could you hope for? What I really am going to be interested to see is what Elko does on like 3rd and 10. Could you see him moving Leal into inside with, say, McKinley, Jackson, or PV, and then bringing in a Delier at an end, or Tyree Johnson to pair with Michael Clemens, so you get all that speed rushing the passer all at once?
Goodness gracious, could be scary.
It really could. And then if you wanted to get crazy, I'll go ahead and do that and bring in Aaron Hanspard on a blitz, and that'll be as fast as you say. I would go so far as to say that if back when I was in East Texas, the high school track meets, they used to have a fat man relay.
Yeah.
I would go so far as if you did a relay of defensive linemen, I think A&M would be the favorite against anybody. Right. Leal, Clemens, Tyree Johnson, and I guess PV. I mean, that would be a heck of a fat man relay. There's a lot of speed among those big guys.
And not all of them are fat men.
No, none of them really.
They're pretty ripped up. All right, when we come back, Stephen McGee going to be joining us for his weekly hit. Can't wait to get into that. But right now, a moment for our friends at the Association of Former Students. They are the oldest organization helping out guys, over 140 years, and your help helps others, right? So when you are a member, and we're all members of the association if you graduated from A&M, attended A&M, but when you start helping them and become a Century Club member for $100 a year, roughly, right? Like $933 or something like that a month, whatever it may be. You're going to get the plaque, the decal, the Texas Aggie magazine, but you're helping out all these other organizations around campus. That is exactly what they do. The Warrior Scholar Project, you got support of the MSC, Midnight Yell. Hey, Midnight Yell Security, we got Midnight Yell coming up real soon. So think about all the different ways that your dollars help them. And if you've, been away, you just forgot to renew 1 year and it's 2 years later, like it's never too late. Get back into the mix. We'd love for you to be a part of the Association of Former Students. To learn more about the impact of the association, get involved, make a gift. Visit aggienetwork.com/giving.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. United Way of the Brazos Valley and Texas A&M School of Public Health have an opportunity to receive a grant to administer a new program where low-income residents can get to and from medical appointments with the assistance of volunteer drivers. Vote each day this week for their project to receive a $25,000 grant. Click the link at uwbv.org. Hundreds of books geared to young readers will be on sale this Saturday at the Clara B. Mounts Library in downtown Bryan. Doors open to members of the Bryan College Station Friends of the Library at 9 a.m. and to the general public at 10 a.m. Loss of a Spouse is a free seminar this Sunday from 4 to 6 at Peace Lutheran Church. Email Rhonda at peacelutheranbcs.org for more information. Catch Cedric Golden of the Austin American Statesman Tuesdays at 12:05 on the Louis Bellina Show to talk Longhorns, Big 12, and so much more. The gang is back together lunchtime, weekdays from 11 to 2. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Howdy, we're Chad and Darla Wooten, your local owners at Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue.
We just want to send a big, heartfelt thank you out to everyone for voting us Best Barbecue and Catering in the Brazos Valley for 2 consecutive years.
Dine in, picked up, or catered, we encourage you to enjoy our family's award-winning barbecue cooked cowboy style over mesquite coals.
Experience the taste of locally Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's Old Time Pit Barbecue. Voted Best Barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M Athletics.
Big Deals. Hi, it's Jenny from Big Deals, and I've got a big announcement to make. Big Deals now has an app that lets you shop, buy, and redeem your mobile certificates. It's so easy. Just go to your app store and type in Big Deals Media. That's Big Deals Media. Now more than ever, it's so easy to shop big deals from your phone.
Discounted gift certificates to your favorite Aggie Land businesses. Download the Big Deals Media app now.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
As the old saying goes, if your only tool is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. At Intercon, we have a full toolbox to meet your window needs. Perhaps your home is ready for a full retrofit to vinyl windows. This full replacement option beautifies your home while improving thermal efficiency, noise reduction, and dust penetration. On the other hand, your existing windows may just need some maintenance. The glass in your existing windows may be replaced, in many cases upgraded to more efficient options. The mechanism in your windows can be replaced to allow the window to operate more smoothly. Maybe you just need solar screens on some windows to eliminate hot spots in your home that tax the air conditioning system and make some rooms unlivable. With the breadth and depth of Intercon's knowledge and product offering, we can find the solution that meets your needs and budgetary constraints. Trust your friends at Intercon to understand your needs and use the best tool for the job.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. As a reminder, if you're listening to us on the Zone, we appreciate you. You have the option of becoming a subscriber and going to TexAgs.com. You can watch the show live on there. And the first hour and a half of the show is live every day on YouTube. So go to our TexAgs YouTube page to break it all down and watch with us and interact with us here on the show. We'd appreciate that. We're live here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And we now go to the BCSI hotline with our quarterback. It is Stephen McGee. What's going on, Stephen?
Hey, good morning, fellas.
Good
How
morning.
are we?
Good morning, man. So we got a lot to talk about, man. We'll start things off with Haynes King. We kind of all expected it here. Just your thoughts now that it has become official.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's exciting. It's good for the team. They finally get the direction of knowing who's going to be their leader and who's going to be the voice in the huddle. I always think it's a good thing when that's done earlier than later, but I also understand the situation and the politics of the position. And obviously you got two really good guys and you don't want Calzada to leave. It's important to have him on this team this year. And I think being that I'm pretty sure graduates in December. I've heard that. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but it would essentially make no sense for him to transfer at this point. So I think he's going to be an important element, especially knowing that Haynes King is a runner and injuries are not out of the question with a quarterback like that. So, two really good guys. You always hate to see one guy lose out on that battle, but everybody has been talking about the DNA of Haynes King and what makes him so special. I think some of the intangibles, the fire, that leadership, he's got the grit. I think he'll be a good fit for Jimbo, and I think he's a good fit at A&M.
Stephen, how much do you think that whole thing about being a coach's son actually matters or actually benefits a guy once he becomes a college player? Because you were yourself a coach's son.
It's a good question. I think it helps. Coaches' kids are brought up knowing the importance of the behind the scenes preparation, getting in the playbook. They're generally they work hard. Now on the flip side, some coaches' kids are like the pastor's daughter. They have a little wild streak to them, and so they kind of rebel, if you will, against what dad has always taught them to do. I think big picture though, Haynes King is the good side of that, in that he's extremely dedicated to the game. Everything you hear about him, I think from the one that really hit home for me was when he was out during bowl practices with COVID, and he was in the parking lot on top of his truck while he couldn't practice, taking notes of practice so he could be a part of it and participate and not just sit at home and play video games. And I think that's the kind of, when I reference or discuss DNA, that I really love. And I think that this team is embraced. And so he's, to your point, OB, got the good coach's kid persona.
Your dad's a pastor, right?
He retired now. He's in missions.
Do you have a sister? I was wondering where you're going with that. The pastor's daughter.
I do. I definitely do. If you've ever seen me on the golf course, you know that's true.
Hey, Stephen, you mentioned politics of being the quarterback. So for those of us who haven't played the position and don't understand what that means, we hear it with coaches, we hear it with quarterbacks. Kind of go into depth about what that means, because it is, for somebody as a first-year starter, there's a lot more than just throwing the ball.
Yeah, it's difficult at quarterback because only obviously one guy can play. Well, I mean, technically you could rotate guys in, but that system has not been really ever proven to work well. And I'm very against it. I think Jimbo is as well. I think you really need one quarterback. You need one guy. And so in that, it's difficult. So then obviously the other guys, not every other position, the backup guy gets reps, he gets involved. And so, defensive line, for instance, being a starter isn't necessarily near as important as it would be for a quarterback. But then also you have the politics of the position. If you have a guy that got beat out technically, and he's going on his third year, to been his third year starter, and you have this new true freshman that comes in and probably played better than he did in camp, it's not the position that you can necessarily just bench that third year starter immediately. It sounds good. I mean, in theory, yeah, but it's not that simple. Then you're gonna have the ability to recruit future kids. It's like, oh yeah, well, you can have a great career and be going into your senior season, and he's just gonna bench you for the new kid, the new flavor. There's a lot that goes into quarterbacks, and naming a starter, it's not as just simple as, oh, okay, this is my best cornerback this week, he's gonna play.
Hey, was there ever a division in the locker room between, some guys thinking Reggie should start and some guys thinking you should start?
No, I feel like the guys really do in the locker room. I don't feel like the quarterback who should play is necessarily a divide or it creates tension. I think that most of the time that sorts itself out on the field. I'm not a big believer. I would imagine that if you went in the locker room today and you polled the guys, I would say the majority there would definitely agree that Haynes King probably deserves this to be a starter. I think the players can feel what the coaches have seen that would name him the starter.
Stephen, moving on to our 21 and 21 presented by Factory Builder Stores. We are focusing today on number 2, DeMarvin Leal. Just your thoughts on the game breaker that he is, gets to the quarterbacks, got strengths, got speed, does it all.
Man, he's a special one. We've had some really good ones on the end, and I think he's right there in line with those guys. He's long, he's fast, he's got bend, he's everything you want. He is a game breaker. He's disruptive. He's able to get negative plays, which is huge for a defense today. And then obviously getting pressure on the quarterback. Even when you're not getting a sack, you're around his feet, making him uncomfortable. That leads to incompletions. That leads to a quarterback being a tick late. And when you're a tick late, that's when turnovers happen as well. So he's very, very important. In my opinion, he's the most important player on that defensive side of the ball. And from a talent perspective, he's definitely, I don't know, he's got to be your number one guy, I guess. I'm biased toward Anais Smith. I think he's a big difference maker for us on the offensive side of the ball. But DeMarvin Leal should be, as long as he stays healthy, top 10 pick.
In your opinion, is DeMarvin Leal best served playing that end, or could he be even better as an interior lineman?
Interior guys it's a little bit different. Because he's so talented and he's athletic and versatile enough, I think he can be a really good 4-3 defensive end. Von Miller's a little bit smaller. They put him in at the outside linebacker position in a 3-4 scheme. But in my opinion, and again, I'm not a defensive guy, so they could probably laugh at me if a real defensive guy heard me say this, but I think he's a 4-3 D end. And it's just hard to come by a game breaker like that at that position. Outside of left tackle and quarterback, I think it's the most important position in sports. And so when you get a guy that can be disruptive off the edge, you gotta cash in on it. Not to say that guys on the interior aren't. What's the guy with the Rams, OB?
Aaron Donald.
That's so good. Aaron Donald, yeah. And so there are guys on the interior of the defensive line that can be really good players and give you all kinds of fits. But in my opinion, the defense starts at the DN position, and you just got to have them.
A lot of defensive tackles, especially in the NFL, are big, heavy guys.
Yeah.
But then you see a guy like Aaron Donald, and back in my day, a guy like Bryant Young, who are a little bit undersized, but they're just so quick that they just wreak havoc. And that's why I say with DeMarvin, he could be whatever Mike Elko wants him to be.
Yeah. Hey, Stephen McGee's on the BCSI hotline. Stephen, I was watching SEC Network yesterday, and Gene Chizik was kind of going through what his typical game week would be. Kind of take us through what that is like, from your time at Texas A&M. He was saying that Tuesday was the most important day of the week. It's the last time to be fully padded up. Just kind of take us through how that week works until you get to the Saturday game.
Yeah, so get my days right here because it's one day later in the NFL. So I guess your Tuesday, Wednesday practices for us were padded. That Wednesday practice could potentially toward the end of the year not be padded. But they're the ones that are full. They got all of the first and second down installs with all the meat and potatoes of what you're trying to do for the week against the opponent. And then Thursday is more of no pads. You're working on third down play calls. You're kind of brushing up on day 1 and 2, making adjustments, making sure guys are up to speed on all the mistakes they made from those first 2 practices. And then Friday is just a walkthrough, of course, no pads at all. Monday would be, generally speaking, the day off. So you come in on Sunday, the day after the game, you get your treatment, you review tape, you do a little bit of light walkthroughs, et cetera, and then Monday you're completely off. That's normally what I see. I think some teams can take off Sunday completely and then bring guys in Monday.
All right, Stephen McGee, Paragon Financial Advisors, with us here on the BCSI hotline. When we come back, that's bullcrap. Plus, I want to find out your favorite. I'm going to give you some time to think about it, Stephen. Your favorite college football movie character. That's a long sentence. We'll get that and more here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Your home for Sunday and Monday night NFL is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The NFL is on the zone.
For service you can trust and a job done right the first time, contact Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Whether it's commercial or residential, new construction or service, they have you covered. Tom and Shelby Line have been serving the Brazos Valley for 11 years, and their team of plumbers have more than 40 years of experience. Customer service is their highest priority. Trust your every plumbing need to Tom Line Plumbing and Irrigation. Click TomLynePlumbing.com today.
We think it's time for a laugh. Bryan Broadcasting and the Nikki Peterson Talent Network present Good Clean Fun, a comedy night with Carrie Pomeroli.
So you guys, yes, I am a member of the Mommy Mafia. I have 2 kids. I have a 4-year-old and a good one.
Hollywood's favorite clean comedian is live in College Station Friday, September 3rd at 7 p.m. at Skybreak Church.
I was in the Zumba class, and there's this teacher, right? And she's all cute and sassy, and she's like, shake what your mama gave you. I'm in the back are going, my mama gave me sciatica and allergies.
Bring your friends, bring a date, bring anyone who's ready for a good time.
You guys, who's happy just to be out of the house? Really? Right?
Good Clean Fun, a comedy night with Carrie Pomeroli, September 3rd, presented by Nikki Peterson Talent Network. Be discovered. Thanks in part to our sponsors, Strata Auto Repair, Mark's Manny's Appliance Repair and Cleaning Service, Dirt Road Rustics Furniture and Home Decor, Buff City Soap, Soap Makery, and Longway Home Adoptables. Tickets, VIP, and group packages available at BryanBroadcasting.com.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fun Center sells and service Polaris ATVs, Rangers, Razors, Global Electric Cars, Plutus, and the Polaris Slingshot. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone.
This is ESPN Radio. Joey Votto got that 2,000 hit tonight.
The more I play here, the more I realize how lucky I am.
Victor Cruz, Super Bowl champ.
I just wanted to feel special this morning, guys.
Charlotte Flair, the 13-time WWE champion.
Hey, guys. Alan Faneca, Hall of Fame class of 2021.
I've been waiting Like, let's do it.
Super Bowl champion Donald Driver.
I love the game. I watch the game more now than I did when I actually played.
Drew Bledsoe, Super Bowl champion.
Keyshawn, if I ever stopped yelling at you, then you would think I didn't care.
Terrence Bud Crawford, the WBO welterweight champion.
I just know in my heart that I can beat him.
Cowboys legend and now Hall of Fame wide receiver Drew Pearson.
But now that I'm in Canton, I don't even think I used the airplane to get here.
Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers quarterback.
A lot of fun last year, but a lot more room to grow.
Lane Kiffin joins us, Ole Miss head coach.
A big part of my motivation was he, because he sent me pictures when I'm on TV of how fat I am.
ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We go back to the BCSI hotline with Stephen McGee. We're going to get into that bullcrap here in a moment. But, Stephen, I got to give you a chance to answer the question. So, your favorite college football movie character ever, and I'm going to just read this text real quick because I think it's kind of perfect. Somebody mentioned, let's see if I can find it. It's Dustin in Frisco. Olin Buchanan is the best college football movie character ever.
Unfortunately, it was a high school movie.
But we'll morph it into Varsity Blues. We'll morph it into.
You stole mine.
Oh.
That's everyone's favorite. That was my answer. There's OB and then there's everyone else.
Did you ever watch the movie The Program?
I think I've seen it. I don't know if I've seen it. Remind me again.
Omar Epps plays the running back. There's somebody Lattimore was the steroid guy. It was great. I love that movie.
That was a good movie. Yeah, I did. I'm still a Varsity Blues guy, though. I know it's high school, but I grew up when I was in 7th, 8th grade, and I had all the football dreams. You know, that was kind of the movie at the time, and I was like, man, I want to be like Jonathan Mox.
Oh, that's great. All right, now it's time for That's Bullcrap, presented by Tom Line Plumbing. For service you can trust, consider Tom Line Plumbing. Great friend of Mr. McGee over there, longtime trusted plumber in and around the Brazos Valley. Check them out at tomlineplumbing.com. All right, Stephen, let me know. What are you thinking?
I know I may ruffle some feathers with this one, but for me, That's Bullcrap are the vaccine passports, especially to get into stadiums at like LSU, et cetera. You know, I'm trying to learn about the vaccine just as much as everyone else. Try to learn about COVID, make well-informed decisions, but I don't want to be forced into my decision. And everything that I've read and I've tried to learn and discern from facts, not opinions, from facts, is that the vaccine does not limit the spread of COVID. It is proven to help lessen the effect of the virus, especially on people with pre-existing conditions or a compromised immune system. I get that. And that's why the systems are overrun. The hospital systems are overrun with people right now. But when you're requiring a vaccine passport and you're saying, protect my neighbor, you're essentially saying that that environment is going to spread COVID if you're not vaccinated, which is just baloney. There's no truth to that. There's nothing proven. All the more and more research that's coming out is showing that. And additionally, the vaccine, from what I've learned or read at least, is that it was really designed for the first COVID. This Delta variant it's not designed for vaccine number 2. I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but to me, it's just frustrating. And I hate to see people's health decisions get made for them.
I think Olin and Stephen McGee could have their own show.
I will just, again, I've been warned, so I'll just say ditto. But you know what? I can't. Here's a unusual. I have nothing to be angry about other than ditto. So I don't really have a bullcrap, but I do have a question.
Okay.
Since Stephen always wanted to be like Jonathan Mox, hey Stephen, did you ever go to Rodney and say, I don't want your life? Rodney being
there's a couple times when we got into it for sure. Yes.
I don't want to play basketball.
My stepmom had to. I did. I cannot make this up, Ob. I told my dad that. I told him, I was like, I'm just going to focus on football. And man, you talk about it was hot. It got heated really quickly, and my stepmom had to step in. She's always the peacemaker. She was wonderful at that. But my dad and I would go at it, whether we were competing in, playing horse or one-on-one basketball, or I'd always try to peg him with footballs. It was pretty fun.
All right, guys, my bull crap is one that it depends on the situation. If it helps my team, I can look past it. But I hate the way games in sports, and I'm going to use baseball as an example. Yesterday, Zane's watching his Dodgers play and however many innings. I don't like starting a guy at second base. I just think let's play real baseball. And honestly, I've come to like the college football ending now. But I still think, even soccer with PK, play the game that got you there. Why do we change rules at the end of games? I just don't like that. I understand for TV purposes why it makes sense and people have a shorter attention span. I get it all. But to me, let's just win the game the way the game was intended to be played. Can I get an amen or a yeah, or do you guys disagree?
Amen.
No, yeah. I mean, sure.
Opie's very agreeable today.
Sure.
I love it.
Starting at second base sounds fine to me.
You don't mind? Okay. I just complained for no reason. Oh, look at you, the smile. I'm going to give you a fist pat on that one.
What?
The smile. Oh, man.
Get the baseball game over with.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for some actual football. I always look forward to the first game because it gives us something to actually discuss.
Yes, please.
A week from now.
The end of the summer stretch. The summer stretch is hard.
Man, that's why I had a real terrible question for the show topic today.
Bobby Boucher, by the way.
He's all right.
I like Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds, too.
We appreciate you, Stephen. Thanks so much. OB, thank you so much, man.
You bet.
All right, guys. When we come back here on TexAgs Radio, Greg Bailey, ABC 13, going to join us. Good old Aggie there. And Aaron Torres as well. He's got a new podcast to talk about and more. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fun Center, where you can get a $500 rebate on any 450 or 570 Model A TV, or $2,000 cash back on a Polaris XP1000. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC, and you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays from 2 to 4 on the Zone.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family.
Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
Get connected and be in the know with the Zone. Follow us on Twitter at Zone1150. Like us on Facebook, Zone1150. Subscribe to our daily newsletter at thezone1150.com. This is KCNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. From Monday through Wednesday, the Brazos County Health District has reported 8 deaths from coronavirus. 2 more reported Wednesday were a man in his 30s and a woman in her 60s. That brings the local pandemic death toll to 275. The health district also reports 916 active cases. That's the most since March 5th. And 24% of local hospital beds are coronavirus patients. Governor Abbott issues a new executive order that repeats the current pandemic policy that prohibits any government entity in Texas from mandating vaccinations.
The governor's original executive order noted that the COVID vaccines had only been approved for emergency use. But on Monday, Pfizer's vaccine received full approval. Now the governor has issued a new executive order saying state agencies cannot require anyone to get a COVID vaccine, regardless of the vaccine status with the FDA. Stephen Pickering, TSN News.
This week, the Bryan City Council agreed to grant up to $17 million from the general fund to the Bryan Business Council for purchasing property in the Highway 47 corridor. During a visit on WTAW, Mayor Andrew Nelson cited the relationship with Texas A&M as one reason to make the agreement now.
You can't have a world-class university without a world-class community, and our job
is to help deliver that, to help deliver jobs for the spouses of people that want to be a part of Texas A&M. We all bleed maroon here. We're Aggies. This is Aggie land. Jobs are an important part of that. Interesting places are an important part of it. This is just another step in that partnership.
Nelson says the agreement, which is for 13 years, will allow the BBC to recruit companies and create high-paying jobs. Personnel actions at this afternoon's Texas A&M System Board of Regents meeting includes hiring an interim vice chancellor for research. The finalist is Joe Elabede, who has been at the flagship for 7 years and is the College of Engineering's associate dean for research. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
First Financial is proud to be the title sponsor for the 2021 Chamber of Commerce Lobster Fest and Golf Classic, the Chamber's largest and most popular fundraiser of the year. Howdy, I'm Cal McNeil with First Financial, and come be a part of the two-day fundraising event. Enjoy lobster and steak dinner September 19th at the Brazos Center, and then tee off Monday, September 20th at Pebble Creek Country Club. Support your Chamber of Commerce and reserve a table, register a golf team, or become a sponsor. Call 260-5200 or log to bcschamber.org for more information.
Start your sports day with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Powered by WC Tractor. Weekday mornings 5 to 8 on 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Or just tell your smart speaker to play Zone 1150. WC Tractor is your local award-winning Kubota and New Holland dealer. Call them with your questions at 1-888-8-TRACTOR. That's 1-888-8-TRACTOR. Check them out online at WCTractor.com. Rise and shine weekday mornings 5 to 8 with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin from ESPN Radio. Powered by WC Tractor here on The Zone.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click HilcoSupply.com. Texas A&M has a new starting quarterback. Coach Jimbo Fisher announced on ESPN 97.5 yesterday that Haynes King will take the snaps when the Aggies kick off the year on September 4th against Kent State. Now, no doubt one of the reasons King won the job is his speed. Even running back Devon Achane has impressed.
We had like the little scrimmage, and we had to do like some little gashers. And every time I look out, look to the left, I see a green jersey, and it's always Haynes for some reason. I don't know. And I told him yesterday, I was like, I ain't like in the game, like, can I just see you like run full speed? Like, he might be scary.
That's pretty high praise coming from someone who also competes for A&M track. Coach Fisher was asked about the foot race between King and Achane.
I mean, Haynes can run. If Chain wants to run, he ain't running. You can get into that all you want. I mean, the Chain can fly. But, you know, and here's the thing you got to realize. Football is not a 100-meter dash. Football is a 15, 20, 25, 40. I mean, those acceleration things, it's hard to get separated. Some of those guys got birth. We got some guys that got great accelerations and things like that. But, yeah, he can run. Haynes can run.
We'll see if King is able to turn on the Jets September 4th when the Aggies kick off the season against Kent State. Now, for more insight into fall camp, tune into the Liucci Hour tonight from 6 to 7 right here on The Zone. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Football season is here, and your favorite sports talk pal has you covered. From the Writers' Roundtable each Monday at 5 to interviews with players and coaches to Kurt Bowles and Brett Zwerneman each Friday. And don't forget America's most loved football pick'em contest, Friday's Fearless Football Forecast Contest. Check out the website at chiphoward.com for the latest schedules and info. No sugarcoating, no sunshine pumping, just the facts. Weekdays from 4 to 6 on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Jamming out here, YouTube, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Got a loaded 9 o'clock hour. Hope to hear from Greg Bailey here soon. Oh, my goodness, I'm talking about him. We go to the BCSI hotline. We are joined by my former boss / friend. He's always my friend, not former. Greg Bailey here on the BCSI hotline. GB, what up?
How we doing, man? You look younger for some reason, David.
You know what? I ran into Daniel Gotera, and he told me something very similar the other day. It's just, let's just say not working late, as you know, was one of my big gripes about working in the news industry, but I miss my good buddies over there at 13.
So my Texans training camp schedule of 8:30 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night. You're not doing that right now.
Don't miss that at all, GB. Do not miss any of it. Now I will tell you, it's been a transition waking up at 5 in the morning as opposed to like 6:37. That's been an adjustment. I still think I look sleepy at the moment, but talking Aggie football, how can you not wake up?
That's right. It is the hype, the belief is off the charts, and I think for good reason. The quarterback announcement sent everybody into another level, a stratosphere, unlike anything we've seen, I would think, since the days of Johnny Manziel. So it's exciting times.
Yeah, man. So one of the first things I wanted to get into with you is, I'm saying this out loud because it's the truth. You are one of the most passionate Aggie fans that I know in this world. I remember you don't say a lot in the office, right? But when things weren't going well for the Aggies, I would hear you grunt a little bit. And when things were going well, you had a little Bob Slovak in you, you get excited. Your love goes a long, long way.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's that dates back for my entire life. So third generation Aggie, my grandfather loved it. Dad still loves it. And everybody in the family does. So yeah, it's the one thing that I get to be a fan of, right? I mean, you know how it works when you cover it professionally. You don't get to be a fan. You're there for professional reasons. But when it comes Saturday kickoff for the Aggies, it's a lot of fun.
Do you miss your soccer updates with me not being in the office? I'd give you all those Ronaldo and Real Madrid updates. You don't get that anymore.
I don't, and there's been some high drama on that, obviously, right? I mean, the last time we saw Messi, he was in tears. So I know that probably struck you as the news of the day for sure.
Yeah. Hey, so let's get into Haynes King, man. You followed his high school career. You follow everything A&M related. Your thoughts when it was official yesterday, Jimbo telling John and Lance that Haynes is the starter.
Well, I thought back to what Jimbo told us at the Touchdown Club when he was here in Houston this summer. Anytime there's a competition amongst the team, Haynes King is always first. And it doesn't matter what the competition is, he's first. So if it's time to run, he wins that. If it's lifting, he's going to win that in his group. That's a leadership style and a quality that we've heard about dating back to the days at Longview when he played for his dad. And if he can translate that into the A&M lineup, people will follow that. And you and I both know what that can do for a football team and for a program when your quarterback takes on that leadership quality. That, as much as anything else, it excites me about his future.
There's a lot of comparisons to Johnny, and that's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. I mean, Johnny obviously winning the Heisman and the amazing run that he had here. That being said, he's got some skill sets that are similar, but some things that are different as well.
Yeah, I think Johnny had an underrated arm. Johnny could wing it. I don't know that Haynes has that big of an arm, but he certainly is a passer. And he likes, throws down the field. We saw that a lot at Longview. So I think that's going to add an exciting element. And then obviously the speed, which is kind of taken on a life of its own. I think when A-Chain says you're fast, you're fast. So everybody gets a little extra hype with on the Haynes King train there. So I'm intrigued. I'll be in the stands when they play Kent State on the 4th. So I'm just as excited as everybody else to see what it really looks like beyond, the one series or a little bit more than that against Alabama.
Oh, man, I got to get together with you and Liucci. All three of us hang out. It's going to be fun. Let's talk a little bit about DeMarvin Leal. He's our focus today of our 21 and 21, the second best player in this ranking. Easily could have been number one. There's a few players that could have been number one. No doubt about that. When you see what DeMarvin brings to this defense, what do you see?
He's always reminded me of Ty Warren, which I consider to be an incredible compliment. Maybe, don't tell Ty, but maybe a little bit more athletic at this stage in his career. But if you're talking about Ty, you're talking about a guy who made an incredible lasting mark in the New England Patriots franchise. That's as high a compliment as you can have in the National Football League. I think Leal is, if it's possible, I think he's underrated in college football circles. I don't think people understand how versatile he is, how maybe athletic he is. Again, going back to the Bama game last year, you saw the interception and the return. It's preposterous that a guy his size can move that well. And the thing that I really love about him, David, is when he gets that motor cranked up, He's going to make impact plays. So, yeah, he can be as high as you want on a list, an incredible stock roster at A&M, and you couldn't go wrong putting him number one.
Going back to the offense for a minute, who do you double team? Like, I mean, when you have as many skillful playmakers that A&M has in the backfield, out wide, at tight end, to me, if you're a young quarterback like Haynes King, you're going to have a field day. You have so many different options.
Yeah, and I think, as you guys make your list, the most impactful player on A&M's offense, and I'm choosing that word carefully, it obviously could be Ainias. So I don't know what you do with the A&M offense as long as there are credible threats out wide. I think that has been a bit of a criticism on some of the national guys don't see the explosive playmakers out wide that they do on some of the other top contenders. I'm a big Chase Lane fan myself. I think Caleb Chapman, you saw him, what he could do in that brief spell against Florida. I think he is a huge play waiting to happen. He was as underrated of a Houston prospect in my mind as there's been in a long time. The highlights that we had of him playing high school football were preposterous. And he's got that natural ability to track the ball and then go get it. So I think that's exciting. But as long as you got playmakers on the outside, you're right. I don't know who you double, and I don't know how you stop.
Greg, when we both first started at 13 back in 2012, A&M was part of our regular beat because we had a bigger staff at that time. We could kind of branch out a little bit. If I remember correctly, either your first live shot or one of your first live shots was Kevin's first game. Am I right about that?
That's pretty close because I started late in August, and then I even went to the press conference after the La Tech game got postponed. So yeah, we've been around it a lot. The Florida thing was awesome. Even though the Aggies lost, just the atmosphere was awesome. You could kind of see those little just flashes of what Johnny Manziel could be. Now that I know that day he would become what he did, no way. But that was awesome. That was a day that I'll never forget. And also just on top of that, there were so many people, I was stunned, that remembered me from when I was an intern at KBTX back in the very early 90s who were still around A&M, who walked up and said, "Welcome back, man. This has to be awesome." So that's one that I'll always treasure.
Was Bruffett here when you were doing that, GB?
Absolutely, Daryl Bruffett was there, man. What, are you kidding me? Come on, he gave me one of the great lessons I've ever received. I was putting together the phone list for Friday high school football, pre-Twitter, pre-internet. You had to have the phone numbers so you could call and get these scores. And I had an area code that was wrong, and Daryl said, "Hey, man, get it right, because on Friday night at 10:20, I'm going to need that score." And it always stuck with me, man. He's awesome. He does such a great job, and has mentored a ton of people. I guarantee you there have been people that have been through TexAgs that have been through the Daryl Bruffett School of Journalism there at KBTX. Yep.
Yeah, I did Friday nights with him for a year. It was great times. All right, GB, let's talk for a minute. NFL, your beat, the Texans. Obviously, Deshaun's always a storyline, but I'm not going to read into these two preseason victories too much, other than I feel like you can see a culture change now, at least from the coaching staff, than what it was before, and the players seem to be happy.
Culture change 180. I mean, could not be any better. They all respect one another. They all respect the opportunity. Every player in his own way has said it, some nicely, some quite frankly not very nicely. We needed a culture change. This is it. If I'm a Texans fan, I'm very, very hopeful based on the early returns from Nick Caserio, understanding, true veterans, true professionals, guys with great attitudes, and what that can do for your program. Obviously not this year. I get what you're up against this year, but going forward, that recognition of how important that is, I'm very encouraged by that.
I tell people all the time, so Bill O'Brien, obviously the offensive coordinator at Alabama, I didn't mind Bill. I found him to be a little difficult to work with as a member of the media in the big group setting. You had a unique relationship with Bill that you got to see him away from the scrum, and you guys became, I don't know if friends is the right word, but certainly friendly. What kind of job do you think he's going to do there at Alabama?
I think Bill's got a really good offensive mind. I think Bill was hamstrung by some things that kind of got away from him here. but he's got a really good offensive mind, and under the structure that Nick Saban's going to provide, he's going to do a good job. Bryce Young is obviously wildly talented. He's going to be tremendously dangerous in whatever offense that they set up. So I get the criticism from Texans fans. The fact of the matter is no one in the NFL should be the GM and the head coach. It just shouldn't happen. He got caught in that, made some terrible mistakes from the personnel side. But in terms of a football mind, he's got a real sharp one, and I wouldn't expect Alabama's offense to take a step back at all.
One more second on that. Your relationship with him, though. I mean, you got him to laugh. I didn't see that very often. Bill wasn't a big laugher, but you guys had a very unique relationship.
Yeah, I got to see the real Bill O'Brien away from the cameras, and when he's relaxed, he's funny. He's a good guy. He's got a really great family. Would actually see his wife's incredible, Colleen. They live not too far from us, so we'd see her occasionally. Good guy. Things just got away from him here, but yeah, we have a good relationship. I've been in contact with him, and I promised him that I'll do everything I can to be in the house on October the 9th, along with everybody else in the country who's going to want to see the Aggies take on Alabama.
Hopefully he has a bunch of roster mistakes that day. Goodness gracious. Maybe he can trade whoever DeAndre Hopkins is on their team. Hey, GB, I do want to ask you about Aggies in the NFL. Kellen Mond has had mixed reviews starting out there. This is a guy, though, I think with the right amount of time. Remember, he lost time because of COVID and whatnot. I think with the right amount of time, he's going to figure things out there in Minnesota. Your thoughts on what Kellen, maybe even what Buddy's doing there with Pittsburgh and some of the other guys?
Well, Buddy in Pittsburgh seems to be one of the great storylines. I mean, you're just talking about a guy who was probably born to play for a franchise, right? I mean, the things that he does, he's highly intelligent. The way he plays the game, he's all over the field. There's nothing that he can't do. I've seen some early criticisms of the pass coverage. That's a transition that every college linebacker has to make. That's more technique with him than I think than anything else. And then with Kellen Mond in Minnesota, you're talking about a guy I think is one of the toughest kids I've ever seen play quarterback in college football. And if he can lean on that and let it rip a little bit, I think he's got a really, really good future. What form that takes and how that fits in Minnesota's plan with Cousins and his future, I don't know. But man, I will always, always root for Kellen Mond. If this thing goes the way that you think that it goes, and A&M starts winning championships, people need to save a place for Kellen Mond, man, because he would have been a foundational piece to get you to that point as a program.
GB, anything you can provide on Carson Green and Ryan McCullum, how they looked with the team?
You know what? I see a little bit more of McCullum at center. He's not getting second-team reps, so I don't know that there's going to be a spot on the active roster for him, but I know that they like a lot of what he does, particularly on the mental side. You're talking about a sharp kid. I think maybe, the practice squad for a year would be a perfect place for him. Whether that's here or somewhere else, I have no doubt that both of those guys will get at least that opportunity. That was a really good offensive line last year, man. I mean, really good. And both those guys were in the middle of it. So if you're a diehard Texans fan, got him Cole Toner has been getting kind of those backup reps, and then they're swinging Justin McCray in there as well. So it's a little bit of a crowded situation at center right now for the Texans.
GB, I missed you, brother, man. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's do it again here close to the Alabama game.
Yeah, let's do it and keep doing great work, man. I know you're doing awesome stuff down there, and I'm always on TexAgs in my spare time, so I'll continue that.
All right, man. Thanks so much, Greg. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
Be good.
All right, Greg Bailey there on the BCSI hotline. Appreciate his time out here. Just a friend of mine, a mentor, a guy that knows me better than most people out there. He would hear me complain about the news industry, celebrate some of my my moments in the news industry. He was there for it all, and he really helped me, even with this decision here to TexAgs. Right now, it's time to talk a little Aggieland Outfitters as I break the microphone here and remind you to text radio to 900-900 for your chance to win the big Friday giveaway, courtesy of our friends here at Aggieland Outfitters. And, I've done a poor job of showing you people, those beautiful viewers and listeners out there, what it looks like. So right now we're going to talk about the Adidas Sideline Woven Short Sleeve 1/4 inch. So I'm going to lift it up so you can see it a little bit better. It's very hard for me to hold and also talk at the same time. One of the things that I just wasn't good at. But this is what they're wearing on the sidelines. This is what the coaches are wearing. Take a look at it. It is a beautiful look, and you can get it there at Aggieland Outfitters for $69.99. It's the new Adidas Sideline quarter-inch zip valued at $69.99. And one of the big reasons to get it, it's very fashionable, it's beautiful, but it's the new material. So if you got it last year or the year prior, they've upgraded that material. Every year, and again, Aggieland Outfitters, that's what they do. They try to find the best material. They're only going to purchase things for you, the customer out there. When you come there or you buy online, you want to make sure you get the best quality stuff, and that's why they get this. This is, you can breathe through it. It's a great looking look. You can pretend like you're a coach out there. Just get on the sidelines and be all a part about it. It is $69.99. You can get that at Aggieland Outfitters, the Texas A&M Adidas Sideline woven short sleeve quarter zip top.
It's TexAgs Radio, weekday mornings from 8 to
Hello, St. Joseph
TexAgs
Eagles
Radio.
fans. Listen to St. Joseph Eagles football throughout the season on KEDC 88.5 FM. St. Joseph Eagles football is brought to you this season by these local businesses: Fast Signs, Strata Auto Repair, Kelly Burt Dozer, Reedfield Meats and Deli, Burnside Services Inc., and Prosperity Bank. Listen to St. Joseph Eagles football on KEDC 88.5 FM. Special thanks to all of our St. Joseph Eagles sponsors.
Now that the foster child I was working with has been reunified with his family, I realized that the hardest part wasn't that bittersweet day I had to say goodbye. It wasn't the time spent with social workers, attorneys, and others to make sure he had what he needed to succeed. It wasn't learning how to advocate for a child in foster care and how to navigate the system. The hardest part was realizing I had what it took to become a CASA volunteer. Make a difference in a child's life by visiting becomeacasa.org. Every child has a chance. It's you. Brought to you by Texas CASA.
At United Roofing and Sheet Metal, we've got you covered inside and out.
Need help with your high wind or hail damage claims? Call Larry Winkler and the fine folks at United. United Roofing is your local, professional, family-owned business with over 40 years of service to the Brazos Valley. United is your insurance claims specialist, providing the most comprehensive full-system labor and material warranty in the roofing industry. Call United today at 268-ROOF.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. I came out in the 11th grade. Nobody was embracing you. The kids were cruel. It was very difficult to be gay. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. The hard part was determining that I was going to do it, but I definitely didn't do it alone.
At age 30, with the help of her mentor, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
I have a mentor, Maria. She convinced me to continue my education and to finish what I started to get my diploma. Just never judges. She's a true role model. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
You can hear Astros baseball on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, plus Gospel 97.3 FM. Astros baseball on Bryan Broadcasting is brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer. Listen in as the Astros contend for the AL West title. Listen in as the Astros battle for the best record in the American League. Listen in as the Astros contend for another World Series title. Astros baseball on the Zone and Gospel 97.3 FM is brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer and in part by First Financial Bank.
Our YouTube page is saving a lot of you guys today. Appreciate you watching the show as we work through some of those technical difficulties. It's TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We're going to get to Tomas Romo here in a moment to talk all things going on in the world of news and social. I do want to throw out that topic again that we're discussing here on the show. Who is your favorite college football movie character? A lot of people have been chiming in on it. I guess mine is the Lattimore guy from the program. But, like, if I call him the Lattimore guy from the program, is he really that famous? And, like, Forrest Gump, I'm going to say something that's probably going to get me in trouble. And usually when you start a sentence like that, you shouldn't say it. I've watched Forrest Gump once. Didn't love it. Whatever. Call me a communist. I didn't love it. It's okay. It's, the box of chocolate stuff. That's just, it's a good, I know a lot of you love it. I apologize. We have different opinions. Not my movie. Dalton is probably talking to somebody right now, so I want to ask him. Tomas, have you watched whatever that movie's called?
Forrest Gump or the program?
The Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump, it's classic. There's something to love about Forrest Gump.
Message? What do you love about Forrest Gump?
It's the comeback story in its own sense. I mean, think about it. A guy wasn't able, to really walk, and then all of a sudden he's a Heisman or D1 football player at Alabama. Then he goes over there to war. He's a war hero. I mean, there's something to be said for that. I love that. Life's like a box of chocolates. You don't know what you're going to get. How do you go from playing football at Alabama to go being a war hero?
See, I forgot he played at Alabama. I don't know. I just, the movie is fine. I probably need to watch it again now that I'm an adult with my kids and see what they get out of it. There's a lot of movies that I've watched. I think I mentioned this on the show not long ago. I watched Die Hard with the kids, and they hated it. And I remember it being awesome. Have you watched Die Hard?
I've never seen Die Hard.
Oh, well, it's not good now if you watch it with a bunch of 13-year-olds and 8-year-olds that don't really understand that time and era of movies. It's great if you watch it by yourself or with like your 80s buddies. But and Forrest Gump, maybe they'd like it. I don't know. They like The Sandlot, so there are movies from back in the day that they like. All right, let's get into some of those text messages, Tomas.
Well, first we got Roy May in College Station. It's a high school football movie, but can't forget the Cinemax gem Wildcats with the killer cast, including Woody Harrelson and Goldie Hawn.
I remember that movie, going to see it, snuck into West Oaks Cinema back in 87. I think my mom let us go to a certain movie, and we stayed for a double feature. Might have been Stand By Me first, and then Wildcats. Don't quote me on that. That movie was fantastic in that era, and had a little rap song in it. It was, I'm sure you've never seen it, right?
No, I've never seen that. But this next one, Chris and Brian, right to the point, Rudy. That is mine, 110%. There's something about hearing them chant, Rudy, Rudy, gets me fired up in the morning.
Another one of those movies, when I first saw it, it was good. I thought it was a little overrated when I first saw it. Then I watched it later on with the kids. Appreciated it a lot more. I think it kind of depends on where you are. Actually, it's a great movie. I apologize. And seeing Vince Vaughn and what's his name? The guy from Iron Man. Why am I forgetting his name? Come on, he's famous. The guy from Swingers. And
I know exactly who you're talking about. I can't put a name to the face.
John Favreau. Woo! Nobody helped me on that one. I got it. I had to go deep into the mental bank. That movie's great. It's great. It's great. I didn't appreciate it back when it first came out. Great movie. What else you got for me, Tomas?
That's all I got for you right now. Get some more text message in for the next segment here. But yeah, so far so good. Rudy, gonna stand by that one.
Yeah, Rudy, great movie. The Program is mine. There was another one. Oh, this is not college football. This is college basketball. The movie Blue Chips. Goodness gracious, I loved that movie. Tomas, have you seen it?
I thought you were going to say Hoosiers. I really was going to, go all in with you on that. I've not seen Blue Chips.
Okay, you're missing out on life, okay? You haven't lived until you've seen Blue Chips. Nick Nolte, great coach. A recruiting dominator. Shaq is in the movie. Penny Hardaway's in the movie. There's another fake guy in the movie. And there was a bunch of players that were actually playing on the opposing teams. I can't remember all the names. But, Blue Chips was great back in the day. Phenomenal. Can you watch that before next week?
I'll watch Blue Chips.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's not good now, 20 years later or 30 years, whatever it's been. Great movie. Fantastic movie. All right. When we come back, Aaron Torres is in the house. We're going to break things down with Aaron, all things college football and what's going on with his new podcast. It's going to be a fun one. But right now, let's just say you're in an emergency situation, whatever it may be. I talked about my dad yesterday having that little minor accident. He didn't need emergency care. Thank goodness for that. But if you're in a situation where you need emergency care, Caprock Health System is the way to go about it. Experience the difference with Caprock Health System. They are patient-centered care, and they are 100% locally owned and operated here in the Brazos Valley. And their sole purpose, make you feel better, right? You're not waiting a long time. You're getting help ASAP when you go out there. They accept all the insurances. You got hospital admission, laboratory outpatient testing, the telehealth. and they are all over town, and they are going to take great care of you. You're going to feel better when you go see somebody that you can trust, and you can certainly trust those folks there at Caprock Health System without a doubt. All right, if you want to check them out, original 24-hour ER in South College Station, voted the best in the Brazos Valley. Caprock Hospital with ER in Bryant. They've got state-of-the-art facilities designed for patient healing and family friendliness. You want to check them out. They are capable of treating all emergency medical situations.
On the Zone. United Way of the Brazos Valley and Texas A&M School of Public Health have an opportunity to receive a grant to administer a new program where low-income residents can get to and from medical appointments with the assistance of volunteer drivers. Vote each day this week for their project to receive a $25,000 grant. Click the link at uwbv.org. Hundreds of books geared to young readers will be on sale this Saturday at the Clara B. Mounts Library in downtown Bryan. Doors open to members of the Bryan College Station Friends of the Library at 9 a.m. and to the general public at 10 a.m. Loss of a Spouse is a free seminar this Sunday from 4 to 6 at Peace Lutheran Church. Email Rhonda at peacelutheranbcs.org for more information. Catch Cedric Golden of the Austin American-Statesman Tuesdays at 12:05 on the Louis Bellina Show to talk Longhorns, Big 12, and so much more. The gang is back together lunchtime, weekdays from 11 to 2. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Presented by Polaris Fund Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country. And Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on The Zone. Polaris Fund Center, where you can get a $500 rebate on any 450 or 570 Model A TV. Or $2,000 cash back on a Polaris XP1000. Polaris Fund Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC. And you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays from 2 to 4 on The Zone.
Bryan Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long, thanks to Prosperity Bank, Kelly Burt Dozer, Zwerneman Flooring, and BCS Toyota. To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
This is ESPN Radio. Joey Votto got that 2,000 hit tonight.
The more I play here, the more I realize how lucky I am.
Victor Cruz, Super Bowl champ.
I just wanted to feel special this morning, guys.
Charlotte Flair, the 13-time WWE champion.
Hey, guys. Alan Faneca, Hall of Fame class of 2021.
I've been waiting, let's do it.
Super Bowl champion Donald Driver.
I love the game. I watch the game more now than I did when I actually played.
Drew Bledsoe, Super Bowl champion.
Keyshawn, if I ever stopped yelling at you, then you would think I didn't care.
Terrence Bud Crawford, the WBO welterweight champion.
I just know in my heart that I can beat him.
Cowboys legend and now Hall of Fame wide receiver Drew Pearson.
So now that I'm in Canton, I don't even think I used the airplane to get here.
Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers quarterback.
A lot of fun last year, but a lot more room to grow.
Lane Kiffin joins us, Ole Miss head coach.
A big part of my motivation was he, because he sent me pictures when I'm on TV of how fat I am.
ESPN Radio, weeknights and weekends on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Catching up with our friend Aaron Torres here on the BCSI hotline. It is time to do Around College Football. We love doing that. Brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, and farms and wide open spaces with a mission to build healthy community around nature. Take part in Milliken Reserve's community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. All right, Mr. Torres, what's going on with you, brother?
Not much. You know, it's just great. I mean, David, I don't know where you were at this time last year. I know you were covering football in some capacity. I apologize for not knowing your full biography, but it's just so great to not have – we're still having some non-football conversations, stadium policies, whatever, but to just be actually talking about games, and I know there's no super marquee game this weekend, but to be talking about games, how do teams match up on the field? I know you've been at a ton of practices. It's just great to just get a semblance of normalcy back because, I don't mean to dwell on something over and over again, but this time last year, every day it was a different a different headline about which conference was canceling, which conference was postponing. This team was supposed to play, but they can't play. Well, maybe, and it's like, it's just nice. We get Nebraska, Illinois. We don't have to worry about if it's going to be canceled to the last minute. I'm just happy. I'm ready, and I hope you're well as well, my man.
Yeah, man. So what I'll say is I needed that perspective because sometimes in this role, I'm like, dude, I need some games. Like, and actually, we're about to get some games, but like the topics, like, we're doing lists and favorite college football movie guy, and now, like, literally a week from now, we're 2 days away from A&M's first game. We've got games this weekend. Finally, we have some games to break down, so I appreciate that perspective out there. I'm pumped, man. Hey, but I do want to ask you, so some kind of career, I don't know if changes is the right word, evolution, if you will. Tell us what's going on in your world.
Yes. Good word, evolution. I like that. Listen, man, I'll be honest, credit Billy Liucci and TexAgs. They were probably 15 years ahead of the curve on this one. But, I've worked for a lot of different places. I still host on Fox Sports Radio, to be clear to any confusion. I'm on actually later today at 7 p.m. Eastern time, 6 Central. But, as far as my writing, as far as my podcast, as far as all that stuff, I've always worked for other people, and it just felt like time in my career to follow the Billy Liucci model. And maybe one day I'll have a fancy studio, with a great radio show coming out there and all that stuff. But yeah, man, it was just something I've been thinking about, and it goes without saying, it's cliche, but the pandemic made us really all reevaluate everything that we were doing. And, I was doing a lot of freelance writing. As a backstory, I had worked at foxsports.com years ago, and, they cut our whole division. And so at that point, I wanted to freelance. I didn't want to work for one specific place. But then, as you said, evolution, evolve. I did want to work for one boss, and it's myself, and I want to trust myself, and I want to put all my eggs in my own basket and see where this thing takes me. So I'll be doing a lot of college football writing. Obviously, when we get into hoops, I'll be doing a lot of that as well. I don't claim to have a strength in NFL. I have a really smart NFL fantasy writer, working with me. I have some good gambling guys, and just fun, man. Obviously, when people come to TexAgs, they want to have fun. They want to talk Aggies. They want to break stuff down. And that's all I'm trying to do on my website, which is now Aaron Torres Online, is make people smarter, make people think, but have fun along the way. I promise you we will not be doing a 1,500-word expose on LSU stadium policy with COVID. That's not what I do. That's not what I talk about. Sports are supposed to be fun. And so I hope people kind of check it out a couple times a day, because we'll have all sorts of good content over there.
Aaron, that really resonates with me because you didn't know my background, but I did news industry for the last 10 years, and I worked at ABC in Houston. Okay. Yeah, and during the pandemic, I realized life is too short, man. If I don't like what I'm doing, if I'm away from home more often than not, this is not what it's all about. And when Billy called me, it was an easy – there's one thing that gets my blood going, that's A&M football, right? Either good or bad, right? And for me to have this opportunity to tell these stories and do it daily, this was a choice that I made, getting away from a corporate lifestyle to come work for Billy and the gang here, because life is too short, man. So kudos to you for going after it.
How fun are you having talking A&M football every day instead of hurricanes and, forest fires and whatever else you were covering?
Well, I was doing sports, but I had to do hurricanes in Houston. Yeah. So I was in the sports department, but in Houston, we all were on hurricane duty, which felt like all the time, and freeze duty. And, I was doing live shots outside in the freeze, jaw locking. It was not fun. But now that I get to tell, hey, we had breaking news right before our show yesterday at 7:40. Haynes King named the starter. We all expected it to come. We didn't know when. And when it came down, for me at least, it felt like, all right, now we know who it is. Let's go get it. Your thoughts on Haynes?
Well, I bet it's great, too, to be the first one to react to it. Everyone tuning into you to hear what you have to say. And that's one of the things I love about doing my Fox Sports Radio Saturday show is, we're on right after all the big games. And so I'm not saying my take is always the best one, but it's cool to be on after a college football playoff game or an NBA playoff game or whatever. As far as Haynes King, I defer a lot to guys like you, to guys like Dalton, Gabe, whoever that are around the team much more. It seemed as though it was always going to be this way. It had been trending this way for a while. I don't know that I'm surprised. And now I'm just fascinated, because I thought you brought up a great point the other day, David, in that, in the SEC, Alabama's got a new starting quarterback, but they're going to be fine. Florida's got a new starting quarterback, but Dan Mullen. I mean, come on, and A&M, nobody was saying that, which is a little bit surprising given Jimbo Fisher's background and success in grooming not only a 4-year starter in Kellen Mond, but multiple first-round picks at Florida State. And so I'm just excited to see this kid on the field. I do actually think the schedule breaks advantageously for him in that, you have that opener on a Thursday night. Colorado, I get it. They're a Power 5 program, but not at the top of the heap. It is a neutral site / road-ish game. But, he should have time to get his feet wet where you can rely on the defense, you can rely on the run game, and you're not going to put too much on his shoulders early before you get to SEC play. So I'm just excited. You guys have told me a lot about him. I'm intrigued. And obviously it goes without saying, I mean, if he's as good as we all hope he can be, it changes the trajectory and the ceiling for Texas A&M as a team that can compete at the top of the SEC for a fringe playoff berth. We're talking about, is Georgia a real contender? Is LSU a real contender? A&M's right there. If the quarterback play is as good as we all think it can be, now we get to see it, as you said, 7 days from now.
All right, I want to ask you about the alliance, but I want to ask you about the alliance with thoughts of LSU yesterday and USC saying, I know we got this little pact going on over here with the alliance, but we're going to schedule a game with each other in Las Vegas. Hi, guys. I mean, just your thoughts of the timing of that and just everything that is happening with the alliance.
Well, I don't know how much you guys cover US. It's very on brand for USC. They're just so oblivious to everything. I mean, they got coaches getting arrested, administrators getting arrested. They're trying to fire Clay Helton, but he wins just enough where they can't really fire him. Now, hey, we got this alliance, and let's make this big bold announcement a day after our commissioners kind of try to put a kibosh on the SEC. What I would say is, listen, I saw a lot of the media backlash, and I get it. It's a verbal agreement that is kind of vague and we don't really know anything. And there's sort of a scheduling alliance, but there's not really a scheduling alliance, and it's not going to take place anytime soon because everybody's schedule's locked in. I get the premise of it, though. And I know I'm talking to an SEC audience here, and Greg Sankey is the most powerful person in college sports right now, and he's earned that right. But I think what the alliance was really about was just saying we have to have a seat at the table when these big decisions are being made. And we don't think Greg Sankey, the SEC, is going to take the Pac-12 seriously. And by the way, they shouldn't take the Pac-12 seriously. The Pac-12 has given them no reason to take them seriously. We're not going to take the ACC seriously because what is the ACC without Clemson? What is the Big Ten without maybe 2 or 3 brands? But come on, most of the people in the Big Ten don't have a voice. And so I think what that alliance is about was saying, one, and I hate to say it, and I know the Aggies were in the middle of this, no stabbing each other in the back the way that Greg Sankey stabbed Bob Bowlesby in the back. But then 2, it's that, Greg Sankey might not take Kevin Warren seriously or the ACC seriously or the Pac-12 seriously. But when you have USC, Miami, Florida State, Clemson, Florida, just said Florida State, Michigan, Ohio State, when they're all on the other side of the table, we have to listen to them as an entity. So we'll see how it all works out. I will say the good thing, I think it's nice that we are probably moving away from a crazy round of college football realignment. It seems like those 3 conferences are pretty set with where they're at. That was my big fear. Where does it start post Oklahoma, Texas? Where does it end? It feels like we'll at least get a little bit of stability with this quote unquote alliance.
So you mentioned that, but apparently this week the Pac-12 is going to decide if they do want to expand. So you don't see a situation where they're like, we'll take Oklahoma State and we'll take a team from Texas.
David, I think anything's possible. Sound like Kevin Garnett there. Anything's possible. What I keep saying with the Pac-12 is a few things. If there were, and maybe in a 12-team playoff, Oklahoma State is that program that's on the fringe, and once every 3 or 4 years they can get themselves in. But I just look at it. We know these other 8 schools don't really bring much from a TV perspective. It's been said, I think Dennis Dodd was the guy that reported the Big 12's TV deal is going to be cut in half when Oklahoma and Texas lead. So they don't bring much from a TV perspective. And if they're not really adding college football playoff contenders, I don't really understand the value for the Pac-12. And I know football is the driver, the be-all, end-all, but I also think you do have to look at it from the perspective of the other programs in your athletic department. Does it make sense to bring in Oklahoma State on the hope that once every 4 or 5 years they're in contention for a college football playoff berth, when it means the rest of the year you got to fly your soccer teams and your tennis teams and your golf teams to Stillwater from Corvallis, Oregon, and Seattle and Tempe. And so I just don't see that urgency. I do think there's probably going to be an urgency from the Big 12 to try to expand. Now, do the AAC teams feel more confident there? Does the AAC try to pull their teams? I could see some kind of reverse engineering kind of at the lower levels. And unfortunately, those other 8 Big 12 schools are now probably more towards that than the SEC, Pac-12, ACC, et cetera. But, I don't see it, David. I really don't. I could be wrong, but I just don't really see that much value from those other schools making it worthwhile for the schools in the Pac-12 that would be bringing in Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State, TCU, whatever it would be.
Aaron Torres on the BCSI hotline. Aaron, I got to ask you, I know you're a big college basketball guy as well. We spoke with Buzz Williams a couple days ago. He's had a rough 16 months without a doubt, but his style of coaching is to get the best out of his players that buy into a system. And last year, I think obviously not having his guys around him really hurt him. He's got a brand new roster. When you think of the name Buzz Williams and what he can mean to this program with a new restart, he's restarting again for a second time with about 10 new players. Your thoughts on what he can do?
Yeah, I've always been a Buzz guy. I mean, obviously, look, 2 years ago he won SEC Coach of the Year. Like, let's not undersell. I think he won it. I know they finished, fifth, sixth. Yeah, they were incredible in terms of where they started to where they finished. I'm a Buzz Williams believer, and I think first of all, there are a few programs that had the year that Buzz Williams and A&M had last year. You start late. Start, stop. He brought his kids back late. Whether that was the right decision or wrong, who knows? But even when you get there, you mentioned the Frost situation where they had to shut down their program for 2 weeks. That's right after they come back from COVID. And you just never felt like you got into any sort of momentum with that team. I think a lot of programs felt that way last year, but it seemed like it was even worse at A&M than it was a lot of other places. Now, he is a guy that has traditionally builds relationships 3, 4, 5 years. I think he's had to recalibrate with the transfer portal world that we live in. But I also think he's brought in a lot of good players. Now, he lost some good players, Emmanuel Miller, guys like that. But, Henry Coleman from Duke, you don't go to Duke if Coach K doesn't believe you could play in the NBA. Marcus Williams, I'm on the West Coast here, so I probably follow the Mountain West a little more closely than most people. Marcus Williams, a ball player, obviously returning to Texas. And so there's some other guys. I'm blanking on everybody, Ethan Henderson, guys like that. I'm a believer. I think it's a new world for everybody in college basketball. But I think you're right, David, he's a guy that needs that offseason to build that trust, to build that camaraderie, because we all know to coach kids hard, they have to know that you love them, that you care about them, and that's in their best interest. And when you have to start and stop every 2 weeks and you can't be in the gym with your guys, it's hard to build that camaraderie. So I think, like you said, it's a great way to put it, is a restart. I'll have to go back and listen to what Coach said, but that's a program that I'm still excited about. I'm not selling after one bad year. It was just a bizarre year for everybody. And listen, it was no different at Duke. It was no different at Kentucky. It was no different at Michigan State. There were a lot of places that it was just a very, very bizarre year across college sports. And I think even basketball, maybe more than football last year.
Aaron, man, congrats on the evolution, if you will. And we'll be watching, listening, and checking it all out.
Thank you, David. Have a great afternoon. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Aaron Torres there. Go check out his website. Follow him on Twitter. He does really good work. All right, it is now time to be caller number one. Yes, number one caller. But what number am I going to give you, and what's the prize? What are you going to do? Well, you got to listen. Aggie Land Express Car Wash in South College Station off of William D. Fitch and Greens Prairie. Aggie owned and operated with the friendliest staff and personal touch. They offer monthly memberships, but we're going to give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggie Land Express in South College Station. All you have to do is call 693-1150. That's 979-693-1150.
It's the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Need help with your high wind or hail damage claims? Call Larry Winkler and the fine folks at United. United Roofing is your local professional family-owned business with over 40 years of service in the Brazos Valley. United is your insurance claims specialist, providing the most comprehensive full system labor and material warranty in the roofing industry. Call United today at 268-ROOF.
At United Roofing and Sheet Metal, we've got you covered inside and out.
Hey, it's David Nuño. Texas is known for football, barbecue, and hot summer temperatures. And typically, the hotter the weather, the higher your electricity bill. But with some help from Energy Ogre, a Texas technology company, you can lower your bill by up to 40%. In fact, we signed up 2 years ago, and they saved my family 35%. Energy Ogre will find you the cheapest electricity plan in your area. Manage all future contracts, saving you time and money. Go to EnergyOgre.com and enter code HOWDY for a free month of service. That's EnergyOgre.com to start saving today.
Did you know that most adults with autism are unemployed, and a major hurdle is the lack of job opportunities? That's why Autism Speaks is teaming up with